Hello and welcome to the fall 2017 semester of Spanish 101 online. I hope that a lot of you have gotten started on the class. I know that a lot of you have. I've been working my way through grading a lot of the assignments that have been submitted so far, and I've been really impressed with how many of you have gotten in and gotten going on everything. This semester, I'm continuing on with something I started last semester, which is posting videos about midweek, every week of the semester, that are specifically targeted to the things that I think students might need help with that particular week. So these are unscripted, they're kind of like a Facebook Live sort of approach, one take, unpolished and unscripted, just me talking to you about things that I think will be helpful for you that week. If sometimes I'll use questions that students email me, other times I'll ask you for questions or suggestions for the video that week. And sometimes it'll just be a webcam chat sort of video. Other times it'll be I'll use the screencast like I'm going to do here and show you specific things on my computer, using my computer. So my goal is to keep them to about 5 to 7 minutes. Sometimes I'm better at that than others. I might record them sometimes from my office, which is where I am today, other times from home, or when it's one of those weeks, I might record them from my car when I'm hiding out from everybody and everything. But anyway, that's the goal of these videos, and if there's anything that I can do to make them more helpful to you, please let me know. Again, they're just going to be really targeted at that week's materials and or specific things that it seems like people are struggling with that I think I might be able to add extra clarity to. These aren't meant to be your main grammar lectures. Those can be found in Blackboard in your assignment folders, the weekly folders under assignments. So again, not big on content, but just really targeted help for specific things that people are needing extra support with. So for today, I'm going to turn off the webcam now, and I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about navigating the class. So we're starting here in Blackboard, and hopefully you've started to figure out your way around Blackboard. If you're new to Blackboard, it takes a while to kind of figure out your way around and figure out if I click this button here, does it get me to the same place as if I click it over there? So hopefully you can get familiar with it fairly quickly. When you first come into our class, you'll always land on the announcements page, and it's really important to read those. I post those at least once a week, kind of outlining the material for the week. And then, of course, the video will be another announcement. So there'll be at least two announcements every week. So I recommend that you always, when you are ready to start studying start on your Spanish studying, I recommend that you start with the announcements in Blackboard. And then click into the assignments tab. And real quick, before I start talking much about what's in the assignments tab, I just want to make a note of this course documents button. What I have in course documents are things that are helpful not just for one particular week, but sort of generally over the course of the semester. So I have the registration instructions for MySpanishLab. I have some information about verb conjugation, some resources for practicing verb conjugations, your vocabulary flashcards, just a lot of different, instructions for typing, accent marks, and special characters in Spanish, a lot of different materials that you might find helpful. So when you have a minute, I would recommend just taking some time to look through that and see what's in there that's helpful to you. So let's look at the assignments tab again. And I'm clicking into the week 1 folder. The course is organized by week, and you'll click into these folders, and it's a module organization where you can click page by page, so you're not doing a lot of scrolling from top to bottom. Instead, it's clicking through the pages, and it gets you the same place if you click here, or there's another button over here that has the pages as well, and that'll get you to the exact same place. So or you can even click just right here on the table of contents and click on any of those page links. So this week we start with some introductory stuff, the syllabus and schedule, the syllabus quiz, all of that, and then MySpanishLab setup, and then we get into the things that you'll see on a more regular basis throughout the semester. So the vocabulario and estructuras lessons on vocabulary and grammar, and these you will click into, and I'll talk for just a second about how I structure these lessons. So anytime that you click into one of your vocabulario or grammar estructuras lessons, you'll see these tutorials that are linked, and these are non-graded, but they're incredibly helpful. And I think that it would serve you well to spend some time watching those when you start into a new concept, or if you read the textbook and it's not making sense, go back and view the tutorials and see if those help. Then I'll tell you which pages it is in the textbook. Now I know some students prefer to read the whole chapter and then go through and do all of the MySpanishLab assignments, and that's totally acceptable, but or not the whole chapter, but the whole part of the chapter that we're covering that week. But other students, especially if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the content of the course, it might help to break it down into more manageable chunks. So I tell you which pages to read. Read those pages, and this is the same whether you have a print version of the textbook or the e-text. The page numbers all align with those two. The nice thing about the e-text is you can listen to the audio files. You can click on the vocabulary and listen to them. Listen to the audio of some of the e-text activities right there as you read. So textbook pages. Then here you have the some MP3 files that you can download to your phone and listen to practice the vocabulary. And then I tell you down here at the bottom which of the MySpanishLab assignments, the SAM or Student Activities Manual, assignments pertain to this particular lesson. So you can switch over to MySpanishLab and do those assignments right after reviewing all of this material and make sure that it all makes sense. And then when you're done with that, you click to the next lesson, and again, just work your way through that next one with reading the pages, viewing any additional instructional material that I post, and then doing the MySpanishLab assignments. So that's the bare bones of how the Blackboard course is set up. Now we'll switch over to MySpanishLab, but I do want to make a quick note that Blackboard, even though a lot of the work that you do on a weekly basis, a lot of your time is going to be spent in MySpanishLab because of the number of activities that are there. Keep in mind that Blackboard is kind of the skeleton of the class, and Blackboard is where I put the materials that I've pulled together specifically for you. So videos that aren't part of the textbook materials, but that I've selected for my students because I believe that they're helpful. And also some assignments like discussion boards and compositions that won't be in MySpanishLab. So make sure that you always start with a look through what's in Blackboard and make sure that you know what's there, and then switch over to MySpanishLab. So I'm going to switch over to MySpanishLab now. This should look familiar to you. If you haven't set it up, make sure that you do it as quickly as possible. Run the browser tune-up here, disable pop-up blockers. If you have an assignment that's not opening, chances are you have a pop-up blocker that's preventing it from opening. And also you might try using different browsers. Sometimes Firefox might work better, other times Chrome might work better, so always be ready to try a different browser. Now, anytime that you see a clock on the calendar, that means that there are assignments that are due that day. Wednesday assignments are ungraded practice assignments for you. The Sunday assignments are the graded assignments that you are required to complete for that week. Another way that you can access the assignments, you can click here and click into course calendar. It'll be the same as the calendar that you see here. Or one view that I like is the to-do list view. And I'm going to click on that, and you can see when it eventually pulls up that it has a list of all the assignments that are coming up. Eventually. Okay, so you can choose whether you're going to view all of the assignments or the ones that are in progress that you haven't finished yet, or any that are past due. So it'll have the assignment there. It'll say when it's due, and I need to find out why it's showing up as being due at 10 p.m. instead of midnight, because it should be due at midnight every time there's a due date. So when I switch over, or scroll over here, it shows whether I've started it yet, how many attempts I have left, if I've passed it or not, and then I can start it right there as well. Now you have 5 attempts, and that's so that you can have some opportunities to try different things and see if it works. But I do limit it at 5 so that you don't just get overwhelmed with doing it over and over and over again. So if you get to 3 or 4 attempts and it's not making sense and you're not getting it correct, shoot me an email, and so that way I can help you out with it before you get completely frustrated and overwhelmed by it. So again, here it tells you how many attempts are remaining and when it's due, and you can click into the assignment there. And it'll show everything that's due on Sunday the 27th. I have to click show more because there's more that will show up further down. But then you can go through all of those that way. And this way too, this is an easy way to see the list of all of them. So if you are working your way just kind of section by section, you read the vocabulary pages, the saludos y despedidas pages, and then you work your way through all of the accompanying assignments that are part of that section. And then as soon as you get to something that says something besides vocabulary, saludos y despedidas, then you switch and go back to the textbook and the help materials in Blackboard and work with those until you're comfortable with the material, and then you switch over to MySpanishLab to do the practice assignments. Quizzes and tests will generally also be in MySpanishLab, so that's what, other than the week 1 syllabus quiz, all of the rest of the quizzes and the tests are in MySpanishLab. So hopefully that is a helpful overview of the materials that we'll be covering or that we'll be using this semester. And again, if you have questions, please shoot me an email, give me a call. I'm here to help. And I know this is already longer than the 7 minutes that I promised, but hopefully it was helpful. And I will see you all online. Have a great first week.